Hey guys, today we're going to be reviewing the Snyder Cut for Justice League, and I'm super excited. So, for those who are unfamiliar, Zack Snyder was the original director for Justice League, but due to personal events in his own life, he had to take a step away from the film. So the Snyder Cut is really, Zack Snyder's vision of Justice League in its purest form, all 4 hours. So now, one of the main and obvious differences between the Snyder Cut and the original Justice League are the movie's tones. Zack Snyder's film is so much darker, so much more gritty, and a lot more ominous. And this is a tone that's set straight from the jump with the movie's intro, where you're presented this catastrophic event, and after it concludes, you can really feel the sense of impending doom and hopelessness, across the world and across the movie's characters. Quick side note, for all of the clips in this review, pay attention to the sound scoring. The music is so good and fits perfectly with all the clips, and it just adds to the effects. On the topic of characters as well, this movie, Zack Snyder's cut, the characters are so much more fleshed out. And this is really obvious in two main characters, Steppenwolf, the movie's villain, and Cyborg. With Steppenwolf first, in Snyder Cut, Steppenwolf feels like an actual villain. He's powerful, he's ominous, he is no joke. Like when he says like I'm going to get, or I want the mother boxes, he wants those mother boxes and nothing will stop him. He feels like an authentic villain, which is a contrast to the original Justice League, where Steppenwolf felt a little cartoonish and felt a little kind of weak, He didn't really feel like this destroyer of worlds or like this, this foreboding creature or character. But we really get that from Zack Snyder's film, which I really, really thought was a big upgrade for Steppenwolf. In addition to that, we also get his motives as well. We know why he wants the mother boxes, why is he doing this, who he's working for, and his reasons. So I thought that was really cool as well. For Cyborg, Cyborg finally gets justice in this film. In the original Justice League, we're just kind of presented Cyborg like, hey, here's Cyborg. But no, in Snyder Cut, he has his own backstory. We know why he wants to fight. We know his motives, what motivates him. His backstory. And for someone who isn't too familiar with the DC universe, I really appreciate having that, that time dedicated to Cyborg to build him up as a character, provide some backstory about who he is. I really, really definitely appreciated that. And Cyborg also plays a much bigger role in this film in terms of fighting Steppenwolf and fighting like the villains in this film. He's actually like a really integral part of the Justice League and in fighting Steppenwolf. He plays a much, much, much bigger role in this film than he did in the original Justice League, which I thought was really cool as well. Our last character, Darkseid, we finally get to see Darkseid. He was hinted at in the original Justice League, like, hey, we knew Darkseid was a character. He was pulling some strings. He was someone who was always involved. But in Snyder Cut, Darkseid physically makes his appearance. We can see Darkseid. He has dialogue as well, which I thought was really cool. That we can finally see Darkseid in his pure form. And he looks pretty intimidating, just like Steppenwolf. Darkseid is kind of like the head boss, head honcho, which is pretty cool. Things I didn't like about this film, Zack Snyder is a very, very big fan of slow motion. And a little too much of a big fan of slow motion, because at times it does feel a little cartoonish. And it does feel it kind of takes away from the authenticity and rawness of the film because the slow motion becomes at times a little so like too much. It feels cheesy, a little cliche, and I just wish that Zack Snyder would have toned it down a little bit. You know, like not every fight scene needs to have this super slow motion. And this is an issue that I also had in my Wonder Woman 1984 review. I feel like directors use slow motion too much in their fight scenes, and it just takes away from the film. It makes the film feel cartoonish and cheesy, you know? And it just didn't fit Justice League, or it just didn't fit this film, Snyder Cut, because this movie is just, again, mature. The tone, dark, gritty, it feels mature. That's also extremely violent. Like, I was taken back about how graphic this film was, especially in the fight scenes, you know, like people getting cut in half, you know, people getting speared to death, you know? It's really graphic, but again, it's mature, you know, it feels raw. It goes perfectly with how Zack Snyder wanted this film to be. A little darker, a little more gritty, a little bit more foreboding, ominous. It's great. So with that, that concludes my review for the Snyder Cut. Just a quick recap. Fleshed out characters, Steppenwolf, Cyborg, those two characters are given so much justice, but really the entire cast as well. Everyone has a lot more dialogue, a lot more screen time. Um, the tone, I love that this is a more of a darker movie as well. And the only downside would really be the cheesy slow motion, you know, but it doesn't really take away from an overall fantastic film. If I had to rate the Snyder Cut, I'd probably give this movie a solid. I want to say like a 9 out of 10. This movie is solid. I hope you guys give it a watch, and if you have watched it, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching my review, and subscribe here for more reviews in the future.